face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome. I'm Magdalite Nagga and you're watching Pulse of Africa News, live from Addis Ababa, the political capital of Africa. We've got a packed lineup of top stories shaping the continent today. We start in South Africa, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is pushing back against critics, reaffirming that the country's economy is turning the corner despite ongoing challenges. President Cyril Ramaphosa has defended the states of South African economy, saying the country is showing clear signs of recovery despite criticism from opposition parties. Responding to the debate on his State of the Nation address, Ramaphosa said progress was evident in key economic indicators and government efforts to stabilize public finance and stimulate growth. The president cited improved public finances, lower inflation, and renewed growth momentum as evidence that the country is turning the corner. Ramaphosa also said effective macroeconomic management has helped tackle what was an unsustainable debt burden, and noting that at one stage, South Africa spent more on service debt than on health and education.
Through effective macroeconomic management, we have been able to tackle an unsustainable debt burden where we ended up spending more service costs on our debt than we spent on health and education. To deal with all these challenges, we've had to rebuild the capacity of the state, but also embark on major reforms, whilst at the same time addressing the immediate challenges that our people are facing. All these efforts have been aimed at improving the lives of our people.
We have seen promising signs of recovery, whether people like it or not. It has been there, he said, pointing to steps taken to reduce unemployment and accelerate economic expansion.
Over the last year, we have seen promising signs of recovery. Whether people like it or not, it has been there. Whether people think it's an illusion, it has been there. Whether people think we've turned the corner or not, they are blind, because we are turning the corner. That is where we are.
He maintained that fiscal reforms are now placing the economy on a more stable footing. President Ramaphosa noted that poverty levels among Black Africans dropped from 67% to 44%. Among colored households, poverty fell from 43% to 25% over the same period. Ethiopian peacekeeping serving under the United Nations flag have been awarded UN medals in recognition of their service in South Sudan during a ceremony held in Yamimbo. The event was attended by Ambassador Dalil Qadir, Ethiopia's ambassador to South Sudan, who praised the troops for their professionalism and dedication in a complex and challenging environment. He highlighted Ethiopia's long-standing contribution to global peace efforts over the past 7 decades, noting the country's active participation in peacekeeping and mediation initiatives. Ambassador Dalil reaffirmed Ethiopia's commitment to supporting lasting peace and collective security in South Sudan, commending and discipline and the preservance of Ethiopia's personnel developed under the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UN miss. Lieutenant General Mohan Subramanian, force commander of the UN MIS, also lauded Ethiopia's steadfast role in multilateral peace operations, praising the resilience and determination of its troops in carrying out their mandate under difficult conditions. The governor of Western Equatoria State, Justin Barrister, expressed appreciation for the Ethiopian contingent contribution to maintaining stability in the region. Ethiopia is one of Africa's largest contributors to the United Nations peacekeeping missions and has played a prominent role in operations across the continent, including South Sudan. Since South Sudan gained independence in 2011, the UNIMIS mission has been mandated to protect civilians, support the implementation of peace agreements, and help stabilize the country's following years of conflict. The medal ceremony underscores Ethiopia's continued engagement in regional peace and security efforts as South Sudan works towards consolidating stability and advancing its political transition.
If you don't tell your story, it will be told by others. They'll talk of hunger, they'll talk of war, they'll talk of conflict, but they'll not say the things that are happening in Africa that are positive.
This is POA, a very new media organization in Ethiopia.
We have to be voice for ourselves. There is no one else that can tell our story better than us.
If it's defending African matters, then go for it. Go for Pulse Media.
This is the Pulse of Africa. Tune in, follow the journey, and learn about the news and what's shaping our African continent.
I am really impressed by the work that they are doing by telling the African story from Africa for Africans. I think it's definitely needed.
Please subscribe to the Pulse of Africa on all platforms.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged world leaders to ensure that artificial intelligence serves all humanity, warning that its future cannot be decided by a handful of countries or left to the whims of a few billionaires. Speaking at the AI Impact Summit hosted by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Guterres welcomed India's leadership in convening the first major AI summit in the Global South and stressed the need for inclusive global governance. He announced that the United Nations General Assembly has appointed a 40-member independent international scientific panel on AI to provide evidence-based guidance and help close global knowledge gaps.
Meeting in India has special meaning. It brings this conversation closer to the realities shaping much of the world. Because the future of AI cannot be decided by a handful of countries or left to the whims of a few billionaires. Last year, the UN General Assembly took two decisive steps. First, creating an independent international scientific panel on AI. And I'm happy to announce that the panel has now been appointed. These 40 leading experts from across regions and disciplines embody a clear message. AI must belong to everyone.
He also highlighted the launch of a global dialogue on AI governance within the United Nations, with its first session scheduled for July in Geneva to bring together governments, industry, academia, and civil society. Warning that developing countries risk being left behind, Guterres proposed the creation of $3 billion global fund on AI to build essential capacity, including skills, data access, and affordable computing power. He said the investment represents a small fraction of the revenues generated by major technology companies, but could ensure broader access to AI's benefits.
Your discussions here will culminate in the global dialogue. But without investment, many countries will be locked out of the AI age. AI must be accessible to everyone. That is why, encouraged by the General Assembly of the United Nations, I'm calling for a global fund on AI to build basic capacity in developing countries. Skills, data, affordable computing power, and inclusive ecosystems. Our target is $3 billion, That is less than 1% of the annual revenue of a single tech company. A small price for AI diffusion that benefits all, include businesses building AI.
The Secretary General underscored AI's potential to accelerate progress on sustainable development, from healthcare and education to climate action and food security. At the same time, he cautioned that without safeguards, AI could deepen inequality, amplify bias, and increase environmental pressures through rising energy and water demands. He called for strong guardians to uphold human rights, protect children from exploitation, and ensure AI's arguments rather than replaces human potential. Real impact means technology that improves lives and protects the planet, Guterres said. Let's build AI for everyone with dignity as the default setting. The World Health Organization, WHO, has announced that Libya has eliminated trachoma as a public health problem, marking a significant achievement for the region's public health. The milestone made Libya the 28th country worldwide and the 8th in the region to eliminate trachoma. Trachoma, caused by the bacterium Chlamydia trachomatis, is spread through contact with infected eye discharge via hands, clothing, or flies. This milestone reflects Libya's determination to safeguard the health of its people and reinforce our conviction that progress against neglected tropical disease is possible everywhere, said Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, World Health Director General. Eliminating trachoma as a public health problem is an inspiring achievement for the Eastern Mediterranean region and for communities across Libya, he added. Repeated infections can lead to scarring of the inner eye, turning eyelashes inward to scratch the eyeball, a painful condition known as trachiasis that can result in blindness. Following validations of elimination of trachoma as a public health problem, Libya becomes the 59th country globally and the 10th in the Eastern Mediterranean region to have eliminated at least one neglected tropical disease. Trachoma has been documented in Libya for over a century, with surveys in the 20th century reporting high level of active inflammatory trachoma in communities across the country, but particularly in the south. Heading to business news. Nigeria's foreign exchange FX reserves have climbed to $48.5 billion, the highest level in nearly 13 years, underscoring renewed stability in the country's external position. Latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, show that the reserve peaked on Tuesday at $48.5 billion, the strongest level since May 14, 2013, when they stood at about $48.51 billion. The steady climb reflects a 6.45% year-to-date increase, equivalent to $2.94 billion from $45.56 billion recorded on January 1st, 2026. The rebound signals improving investors' confidence and the impact of ongoing foreign exchange reforms introduced by monetary authorities to stabilize the naira and strengthen in liquidity in the FX market. FX reserves are assets held by a monetary authority in foreign currencies to back liabilities and influence monetary policy. They serve as a buffer against external shocks, help manage exchange rate volatility, and reassure investors of a country's capacity to meet its international obligations. The Apex Bank has projected further gains on December 22, 2025. It forecast that external reserves would rise to $51.4 billion in 2026, anchored on sustained reforms in the FX market. The National Bank of Rwanda has increased its benchmark rate by 50 basis points to 7.25% to curb rising inflation and prevent second-round price effects. Governor Soria Hazukromea announced headline inflation climbed to 7.4% Q4 2025 and accelerated to 8.9% in January 26, exceeding the bank's 2 to 8% target range. Higher core energy and fresh food prices driven by supply and weather challenges fueled the surge. Inflation is expected to remain slightly above 8% in nearly 2026 before easily toward target by a year end. Despite price pressures, Rwandan's economy remains strong, growing 8.7% in the first 3 quarters of 2025. Exports rose 14.1%, led by coffee, minerals, and non-traditional goods, while financial sector's assets expanded 23.7% with stable loan quality. The central bank said the financial system remains resilient but warned of risks from global tensions, imported inflation, and weather-related shocks. Heading to sport news. Union of European Football Association, UEFA, is set to support FIFA's proposal to expand the 2029 FIFA Club World Cup to 48 teams, marking a major shift after years of tension over calendar congestions. The breakthrough came in February negotiations, with FIFA agreeing to keep the tournament on a 4-year cycle, shelving the long-opposed biennial idea and easing concerns about the Champions League standing. Under the proposal, Europe would receive 16 spots, up from 12, offering more access to elite clubs. Africa could see 6 or 7 representatives, creating a major opportunity for the continent. Spain and Morocco are leading candidates to co-host the 29th edition, potentially serving as a large-scale taste event ahead of the 2030 World Cup. While UEFA and FIFA appear aligned, the World Leagues Association and FIPRO continue to warn about increased player workload. The proposal now heads to the FIFA Council for final approval. Zimbabwe have caused a second major upset at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. They beat co-host Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in their final Group B match in Colombo to advance to the Super 8 stage as a group winners. Sri Lanka, who chose to bat first, posted 178 for 7 in their 20 overs. Opening batter Pathum Nisinka top scored with 62. In reply, Zimbabwe's open brain Bennett scored an unbeaten 63 as he stressed his side to victory with 3 balls to spray. Zimbabwe, who beat Australia earlier in the tournament, next play the Western Indies in their first Super 8 match in Mumbai on Monday, while Sri Lanka and England clash in Kandy on Sunday. Let's take a look at the weather forecast across Africa. Thank you for watching Pulse of Africa News. Until next time, stay informed and stay tuned. Goodbye.